We're looking at Azrael's third match here. At this point, he's quite tired in the competition, and he still makes some really good plays in this of regarding, and he has excellent framing position when he gets pinned inside control. Let's fast forward to the match here. I think his opponent was far from the mat. We were waiting for his opponent. That's why there's so much time here. All right, match begins. So as always, the matches start with grip fighting. One thing I'm noticing now is Azrael is being very reactive in his grip fighting instead of proactive. His opponent is reaching in, trying to grab wrists, trying to find collar ties, and Azrael is being reactive to that. So one thing you can think of is, what grips do I want, and how can I set those up? That was a beautiful knee tap from his opponent here. So he sees he has an opportunity for an underhook, which he has because he's controlling Azrael's wrist. He can decide when he wants to upgrade that to an underhook. So here he sees the opportunity. Azrael's body is close to him. He knows that he can reach down for that knee, and that's when he upgrades to an underhook on that far side, changes his level, blocks the knee, and drives over it. And really nice knee tap there. Now Azrael starts with a framing position that's not that good. He's wrapping around the arm, and he was wrapping around the head. And so he's going to try to upgrade his frames, and there he just did a beautiful job of getting his elbows on the inside, which he's able to, you can see that right here. He effectively has the elbows on the inside, and he's able to create space now between him and his opponent with his arms. Now what I'd like to see him do here is either rotate belly down to build up and get his legs on the ground, or to crunch his knees in to get his knees between him and his opponent. But that's the idea, is you're using your upper body frames to then use your lower body frames. You can either use them between you and your partner, or you can use them on the mat. So here he opts for the option of trying to get them towards his partner, where his partner is stuffing the leg and staying on top in a very tight side control. Azrael again developing really good upper body frame positioning. It's excellent positioning for the forearms. Now with that positioning, he wants to get more on his side. You've got good frames. Next step is to get onto your side to not be flattened out. Create some space with those frames, with the hip movement, with leg movement, and then progress to the next phase of your escape. Which is easier said than done when your opponent's trying to prevent you from doing it, of course. So here he inserts that one knee, which is great. Now, what you can do with that knee, a common mistake is people get that knee in, and then they try to scramble in and get their guard from there, and there's just not enough space. So you can actually use that leg to push against your opponent, almost like you're straightening your leg out a little bit without letting it straighten out and losing contact with your partner, so pushing towards them, to move your hips away from them or them away from your hips to create more space between the two of you to then be able to more effectively re-guard. So here's a really good example of getting all the way back to a guard. This is an open guard that he can play from here. And just like standing up, I would like to see a more proactive rather than reactive gripping game. So here he'd want to establish some grips on his opponent. So he's grabbing the hands, but he grabbed the hands because his opponent grabbed his legs. So you've got 4 potential grips. You've got each foot and each hand. And from this point here, you want to start thinking, what are the grips I want on my opponent? What can I get with my legs and my hands? The common grips with the legs are often hooking underneath the knees or pushing on the hips, sometimes hooking at the ankle as well. And the common grips with the hands are grabbing the ankle, sometimes grabbing the knee, and other times grabbing the wrists. If your opponent's close enough, also grabbing the head via collar tie. So those are the grips that you would be looking to establish from the bottom. So here, this position here, right here, is not a proactive guard playing position. At this point, either move forward and try to establish the grips, or hip escape back even more, hip heist, and then get up on top and go back to a standing game. But in this in-between zone, there's not a lot of good things that can happen from the bottom player's point of view. That was good tracking with the legs. Definitely not allowing his opponent to settle down. And now we end up in a chest-to-chest half guard position. Now, chest-to-chest half guard is considered a superior position for the top player than the bottom player. A guard position, non-chest-to-chest half guard, a guard position is considered an equal position. So earlier on, we were considering this to be an equal position. Now this is a slight advantage for the top player. So what that tells you is that if you are playing on the bottom, let's pause and let me finish this thought before we go over that. If you're playing on the bottom and you have a half guard, you want to prevent your opponent from flattening you out and getting chest-to-chest half guard. You want to keep the knee shield in between the two of you so you can continue to be dangerous from that position. Now, the first mistake was allowing the chest-to-chest half guard and then allowing it to stay flat like this. Now, his opponent opts for a Nogi Ezekiel choke, which is a very uncomfortable choke that often can be just a threat to open other things. So as you do the Nogi Ezekiel choke, the other person often reacts by trying to push the hands away, and then their arms are out of position. You can capitalize on that. But his partner, being very muscular and having successfully flattened Azrael out, and Azrael being on his third match and being quite tired, his opponent successfully completes the Nogi Ezekiel submission and gets the tap. Really fun match. Lots of little things to learn from. Congratulations, Az, on this competition. I'm competing and looking forward to coach you through the next one. Good job.